Yes, hello everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Jagpreet Singh, and I welcome you all at the UPES School of Design Studies webinar. The topic of today's webinar is School of Design Studies as the leading player in design education in India. Well, I'll tell you a bit of about myself. I'm Jagpreet. I've been associated with the School of Design Studies since 2013. When we started the school, we had a very small batch of 10 students, and today we have grown out to around 230 students. And today's webinar is more about School of Design Studies, the perspective, and the new philosophies that the school is trying to put in place in the national design education. So it's very commonly known that if you want to predict the future, you design it. That is the philosophy we actually work on. So, what do you mean by what is future and what do you mean by design? That is the first part of this webinar that we'll be discussing about. So, what is design? We get to hear this word a lot, design. You go to the market, you want to buy a new pair of jeans, you look for design. You want to buy a new pair of glasses, you look for design. You want to buy a new mobile phone. Even though all of them look very similar to each other, we always look for something which is better in design. So design, it's not limited to what you like just around you. It's not only limited to your personal accessories like mobile phone or spectacles. It goes much more beyond that. And I have a few examples here today that I will be talking about, and I'll be sharing those examples with you to emphasize upon the need of design. So when we say design, design is essentially about change. Change is inevitable, right? So where does this change come from? Where do you apply the change, and who makes those changes so that it becomes a design? Will be very clear from this example. Now, if I give an idea of what is this, if I ask people what is this, generally people come out with, okay, this is a roller, this is a cricket field, somebody is trying to level the field. Very few come out with the right answer, and the right answer would be clearer if you look at this image. Yeah. This is the Indian version of the same thing. It's called a Q drum, like the alphabet Q from the English language. What it does, to understand that, you need to understand the philosophy, the history of this Q drum. We always get to see the photographs of incredible India, where we see some of the ladies would be, carrying water on their heads and they're walking through the desert. We show it as the culture of India, the heritage of India. Uh, I'm talking about India, but this is not limited to India alone. We just saw in the previous photograph, in the image, that was an African guy, a small kid who was, dragging at the Q drum. So what is happening here is these ladies have to walk down, say, 8 to 10 kilometers sometimes, just to carry what 20 to 25 liters of water, and they carry all that water on their head. So there have been a lot of problems associated with that thing. The foremost one is the health issue. Carrying so much water on your heads, and if you notice, most of these ladies are barefoot. Because they have to walk in deserts, and sometimes they're from uh, such a household that they cannot afford a very good pair of shoes. Uh, but they walk on those roads in deserts in gravel, and there are a lot of problems related to the spine, the backbone. They get stunted growth, and many other health ailments that these ladies suffer just because they have to carry some water for themselves. That is one. Second is they are not able to get a proper education. They're not able to get proper jobs for the same reason that they're working all the time and carrying the water. So most of this time is spent in this thing. So some designers they got together. One of them, while he was just walking, he was traveling through one of those areas where the water was scarcity. So he got an idea. Why not design something that can ease at least the problem the ladies are facing or the people carrying the water are facing? So this one Q drum, at an average, it contains somewhere up to 50 liters of water. And as you can see in this image, there's a small kid. He's happily dragging the Q drum, and that's 50 liters of water. So with a small application of design, we have been able to reduce the hardship being faced by such people, right? So that is what design does, and that is a change that design brings to the society. And this is just one example. There are hundreds and thousands of examples from across the globe, which show how design thinking and design application can actually change lives of a lot of people. Moving on to this image, this is one of the most famous uh, images of the car, which is India's one of the famous cars again. Now, this is not the actual car. This is the idea where it began from, right? If you could guess, I'll show you the next picture. It will be very easy to understand which car am I talking about. When Ratan Tata told his people uh, that he wants to bring a 1 lakh car, which was not possible in those days. It was 1 lakh and a car. These two equations could not be met at that time. Because putting things into a car, it's very expensive. So the engineers came out with this image of two kinetics, joined together, put a roof, put a windscreen, put two headlights, and that's it. You have a car worth 1 lakh. But Ratan Tata didn't want that. What he wanted is he wanted to give a proper car to the people. So from that idea of two kinetics, we got a design which is a full-fledged nano. And we know nano has now become such a big icon. People know Indian car industry by nano. Right. So this is another idea, an example where an idea becomes a design and becomes a product which is being used by lots and lots of people across the country. So what is design more about? It's about evolution. It's about creating something which timeless. If you look at this image, we have Coca-Cola bottle since 1899. Then you have a new one in 1900, 1915, 1916, and after 1916 there was 1957, and after that 1986. And since 1986, it has not changed. If you go to the market, the only thing that may have changed is the material. Now, from glass bottles, we have gone on to the plastics, but the actual shape of Coca-Cola remains the same. Now, what is there? This is timelessness. This image has been created in such a wonderful way that this shape has been created in such a wonderful way that even today it looks uh, as if it is from today. Right? It doesn't look old. It doesn't look prehistoric. So this is what design does. It evolves. The Coca-Cola brand remains the same, but the bottle has changed. The contents are same, but it has got a new identity. That is one more application of design. So if we look at this image, we have a pager, we have a huge mobile phone, we have some more mobile phones. So what do they do? Basically, if you look at them, they're not. They can be called anything. But they call mobile phones because that is where they have been driven from. When Graham Bell made the first phone, it was a landline fixed phone, right? He would just call from one place and listen to the other side, provided both the phones or the instruments, as we call them, or the devices were supposed to be stationary, right? Now, people thought, or designers thought that now that we have the technology to communicate, let us take it further. Let us, enable people to communicate with each other even when they are not inside the house. So Motorola's pager that you see the image here is one of those ideas which became an innovation. So what happened now is if you have a pager, you can always get messages, right? So to send a message on a pager, all you have to do is call up the pager company, give them the message, and the operator on the other side will type the message and send it to the pager. Now the person who has a pager, they'll get a beep, they look at the pager and see, okay, I've got the message, and that's it. So we have solved one part of the issue where a person at one end can easily send messages to somebody who's on roam, right? Roam in the sense who's traveling, who's not around a fixed phone. But that is not where designers stop, right? Now, designers saw there was an opportunity to create something new, something better. So what they did, they came out with a mobile phone. Now, these initial mobile phones were very big. They were so big. If you look at Hollywood movies, a rich guy will be having a briefcase. Inside the briefcase, there would be some documents, and eventually you'll find a mobile phone there. That is how big those phones used to be. Like you could not carry them in the pockets, and that is exactly the challenge that the designers thought of cracking. And so they developed the phone much further. From that big, they came down smaller and smaller. They reached to a point where we had Nokia 3310, in that area, that age. Back not much far away from today. It was 15 years, 16 years. That's it. So they came out with the phones like Nokia 3310, where there's no antenna, there's no aerial. It has a small size. It had a very good fan following even today. It has that one, and you could make calls. You have a reminder. You have a calendar. You could even play a game Snake, right? And there's also a joke. That Nokia 3310 is so strong that you throw it at a tank and the tank bursts. So what has happened now is people started playing with forms. The designers wanted not just a phone, but they wanted to give people an accessory to carry along. If we move further, we look to today's time when we have iPhones. Now, iPhone, when it came to the market, it was not Apple was not known for as a phone manufacturer. It used to make computers, but it came out with one product, which was an iPod. At that time, Sony was the best music industry manufacturer. Right? They actually manufactured the industry. In the sense, they were making CDs. They had music studios. They had movie studios. They had devices. The Walkman. They were the first one, the pioneers to get into Walkman, CDs, etc., etc., etc. But then Apple came out with a very beautiful product, an iPod, and it failed Sony completely. So Apple took it further. They took their technology into a phone. So what you see today is basically from that one idea, where you can touch the screen instead of using the buttons. So today we have crossed that limit as well. If you go further, now each and every phone in the market looks the same. We have saturated the market like anything. Now, in this image, you see a lot of phones, button phones, not the touchscreen ones, which look very similar to each other. And if you go to the market as of today, what will you see? You want to buy an Acer phone? Wow, it looks like a Lenovo. You want to buy Lenovo? It looks like HTC. HTC looks like Samsung. Samsung looks like Apple, and Apple doesn't know what it wants to look like next. So what has happened is we have reached a point of saturation. But this is again a challenge for the designers, right? Now designers would work further and they design Google Lens, Google Eye, or it's got many names like Google Glass as well. So you have two images in front of you. One is a sketch that has been conceptualized by a designer who thought, okay, maybe in the future we will not be having mobile phones, but we'll might be having everything on our glasses. So it has been produced by Google in a different manner altogether, but it's been a good idea so far. It has not been a successful product, but it's a beautiful idea, right? So you have to understand also how futuristic you have to be, how advanced you can go. So this is one more example there. When you talk about cars, you see Mercedes. All these cars are so easily available on the roads as of today, because this is today's design. What we don't see and what we have to create as designers is something like this. We call them concepts. You see such kind of things in Geneva Motor Show or even in Auto Expo or Shanghai Motor Shows. So these are cars which are displayed as concepts. Now, they are one piece only. They may not exist today, but this is giving an idea or a glimpse of the future. The future might look like this. So if we do it, we can do it, right? So this is all what design is. Design is, as you've seen from the first image, about solving problems, creating an identity, challenging the future. And that is the idea that School of Design Studies is born with. So as a school, when it was incorporated, much before that, there was the idea to fill the gap. There has been a tremendous growth in the design and innovation industry. The need for designers has grown across the globe, and being one of the biggest and the fastest developing, one of the fastest developing economies, it becomes very essential for India to understand the needs of the global design industry and to produce such talent. Now, there has been an increased demand of late. You must have heard of new designs coming out of new cars being launched by Maruti, or new bikes launched by Honda. Many of these cars are being designed in India now. Apart from all the graphic, in a lot of new products, something you don't even think of would exist in India, but yes, it is being produced in India. So there have been a lot of demands of designers in transportation, in product, in graphic, in accessory, in communication design, etc. Looking at that, School of Design Studies was started by UPES, and that is what we are here for. We had an idea. There was one aim in a program, and that is where we started with 10 students in 2013. So we had these 10 students in transportation design, and none of these were, UPS students. These were students who were either in the industry. Some of them were already working in the industry, different industries. One of them was in Tata Toyota, one was in Renault, one of them was in Ford. So these guys left their studies and they came to SODS to join Masters in Design in Transportation. From that day, since July 2013 to today, we have got much farther, much higher in infrastructure and facilities. And this is the currently this is our building, this is our department, School of Design Studies. And the students today, they come from various places of the country. We have a lot of people who come from Delhi, from Punjab, from Rajasthan, from MP, from Kerala, from Tamil Nadu, and many other areas. So we have a sort of mini India in our department. There's a very beautiful community of different people from different ethnicities and languages and cultures, and they all sit down together to create new products. And that is the basic idea of being in design. Right? You interact more and with people from different places. So what do we, the aim that I just talked about in the previous slides, what is that? The aim is to provide interdisciplinary knowledge, a 360 paradigm. That is what we want to do. That's what we have been doing so far. So what I mean with the 360 learning is that if you are into, say, transportation design, it's not necessary that you'll be always learning only about cars and bikes and trucks and buses. It means that we'll also be giving you inputs on graphic design, on communication design, on modeling, hand modeling. You'll be learning color theory. You'll be also learning product and industrial design. You'll be also doing some furniture design. Of course, the speciality that you get into, that will get you much more of inputs. But in otherwise, you'll get inputs for many other products in the terms of other disciplines as well. Today we're talking about Masters of Design. So we have three basic courses. Uh, all three of them are 2 years full-time courses. They're transportation design, industrial design, and interaction design. So the images that you're looking at, they have been all done by our students, and we'll be talking about those all these products in the next slides. So what do we teach? MDes, it doesn't matter if you are into industrial design, into interaction design, or in transportation design. We have all these subjects, and they are the respective courses have these subjects. For example, in industrial design and transportation design, you'll be doing more of sketching and rendering. You'll be learning a lot of digital sculpting. You'll be learning a lot of you'll be having a lot of design projects. There'll be product detailing. You'll be doing ergonomics. And if you go to industrial design, you'll be concentrating more on aesthetic shapes and forms, into art and design, in product detailing, in product analysis, and so on. If you go to interaction design, your communication will be more into visual communication. That is where the stress level will be higher, and that is how we have designed the courses. All our courses have been designed with inputs from the industry. So every 2 years we sit down. Every year we sit down with the industry professionals to understand what new is required in the industry and how we can improve our curriculum, so that the students, whenever they are out of school or design studies, the moment they pass out, they're ready for the industry. So when you talk about ready for the industry, what do they do? There are a lot of things which industry requires. So we give our students hands-on experiences, starting from the very basic, which is sketching, which is the language of design. So we say designers don't talk. They don't talk through just words. They talk a lot through the sketches, their projects, their renders, their models, their prototypes. That is how students communicate. Designers communicate. So sketching is the foremost and the very basic of all these, and this is what a student must acquire to become a designer. Uh, Being a skill, it can be acquired through repeated practices. See, we get a lot of questions from the students, students who are very much interested uh, in being designers, but they're not very good at sketching. So that is something that we have been stressing upon. If you have the passion to do it, if you have the dream to do it, all we require from you guys is hard work. We as teachers, we teach you exactly what is required, what kind of skill, how much practice, and then if you follow those things, everybody can be a designer. That is how simple it becomes with repeated practice. So we have color theory, where see, if you look outside, everything today is colored, right? You can differentiate one brand to another just by looking at the colors they're using into the branding, into the products. Uh, Take an example. For example, BMW, right? It has blue as very prominent color, right? So that is what is happening here. Just by looking at blue, you understand. In cars, blue and white, if you look together, you say, oh, this is BMW. If you look gray and black shades, you say, oh, yes, this is Rolls-Royce. In other products, for example, if you see orange color, you see this is tight. You know, if you look at green color, you know it's wheel. If you look at yellow color, you know it's Nirma. So all these brands, they are associated with some sort of colors. Coca-Cola, we all know Coca-Cola is all red and white, while Pepsi is blue and white. So an identity has been created. So who does this? There's a lot of color theory that goes behind this. So this is one of the modules that we have, and in UPES. AMDES students also do it very extensively because for portfolios and for being in graphic industry, this is very important. One most important part that we emphasize and we teach our students is to work with their hands. As a designer, you have to create your own products. For example, if I have a bottle like this one, this is a small water bottle. What is happening here is, the, before somebody created this, you had different sort of bottles. But somebody had an idea, oh, maybe I can have two different colors, I can have a different kind of cap, I can press it and opens like this. It gets easy. So you have to simply, press the button here. So somebody who did this, he didn't do just with sketches. Of course, sketches are very important, and to see if it works or not, you make prototypes. To make prototypes, you need to understand different materials like plaster of Paris, like clay, like wood, like steel, like plastic. There are a lot of other kind of plastics that we use, HAPS, acrylic, LD, etc., etc., PP. So all those plastics are also given to the students so that they can understand how product would look like in a real life scenario. And to make those products and to make those uh, prototypes or models, we have a lot of resources available at the university. I always tell my students that if you want to make a complete car, you can make it here at School of Design Studies. The resources that we have here, we have Cintiq lab. Now Cintiq is a screen which acts like a paper. So you have a pen, it's like a touch screen. You simply sketch on it and you can produce your work. If in this image that you see on the right hand side, there's a long, huge banner. This is story tall. On the left hand side, the student is working on that banner. So actually, what happened is the student made the banner. We got it printed, and it's there. Everything that you see in the campus in the department has been done by the students. So I'll also take this as an opportunity to invite you guys to come to UPES, come to School of Design Studies, look at the work students are being doing, so that you get more inspired, you get more motivated. To make that happen, as I said, we have Cintiq lab, we have 3D lab, dedicated labs, uh, we have workstations in both the labs. We have a completely dedicated design library. We have professional plotter and printer, so that if you want to print something, you can print it at a professional quality at the campus itself. One more important part, which is to be discussed, is the incubation center. Now, what is happening here is a lot of a lot of students come out with new ideas. Some ideas so fantastic that you can sell them right then. To make that happen, we have an incubation center at place. So if you have an idea, you go to the company to the incubation center, you meet the professionals there, and they help you in developing that product. We also had a student. We have had students who get a lot of funding from the university. For example, if you want to produce, say, a device that monitors water leakage in the pipeline, how do you do is you come out with an idea, and UPS will put money. If the idea is good, they'll put money to make a prototype. And once prototype is done, you get it tested. Once testing is done, if you want to commercialize it, an incubation center helps you. You want to start up a new company with the help of incubation center, you can do it here itself. All the guidance, all the paperwork, all the documentation, which everything is required for such a venture, will be helped by UPS incubation center. So how do you do it? You do it through your industry contacts, through industry connects. Uh, we are at Dehradun. We are located at the foothills of the Himalayan range. We are like 1 hour from Missouri. And this is a very good place to explore your thoughts, to explore new ideas. But sometimes you need a lot of inputs from the industry. You want to know what is happening outside, how people are behaving, how people will understand your design. So to make it happen, we invite a lot of industry visitors, experts to come to the industry, to come to the campus. For example, here in these images, you see on the to left is Dilip Talore, who came from General Motors to teach students on clay modeling. I'll tell you some of that in the next slides. We've had people coming from the animation industry. They come, they teach, they interact with the students, they understand what students' ideas are, the queries are. If there are any doubts, they are cleared by the industry experts there and then itself. We have Somi. Somi has been a very regular visitor to the campus. She teaches software like Adobe Illustrator, which is required for graphic work, for designing brochures, magazines, for making portfolios, etc. So we recently also had workshops from Ankur from a glass making workshop. See if you go out today into the market, uh, there's lots and lots of new things are being emphasized upon. Skill is one of them. So our MDes students, when they go out in the market, they need to interact with the with not just the top management, but also to the skill talent across the country. So that students understand where the talent lies and how it works, make them interact with the different artisans as well. So we also had a glass workshop. We also invited Mr. Sudhir Kumar from SKM Industries, Faridabad, to interact with the students and prepare from their jobs, which they are going to look out for another 2 months. So the activities that we do at UPES, some of them are here. Innofinity, it's a design conclave. We organize a design conclave where our design students, mostly the graduating ones, they interact with the industry specialists. So in 2016, we had Mr. Gangasalam Satyasilam from Ashok Leyland. He's a design head there. We had Richa Ghansial, who's a social entrepreneur. Satish Gokhale, founder and director at Design Directions. So our students interacted with these guys. These people gave them a lot of inputs, helped them in the development of the portfolios. So those inputs, when our MDes students went out into the industry, they got a very good, understanding of what the industry was looking at. So some of our students are already working with Satish. Students have been interacting regularly with Satya Silan from Ashok Leyland to understand and to incorporate the new thoughts of the industry. Some more photographs from the same design dialogue. We had it in Delhi, we had it in Ahmedabad, we had it in university campus itself, and we are planning a few more of these design dialogues in the coming days as well. This is a design opera. This is our MDes students' work, which is being displayed. Design opera is where we open up our gates for every visitor to come and have a look at the student work. If you see the images, those MDes students have done furniture, they have done clay work, they have done chess pieces. They have also exhibited their other skills through sketches and posters and photographs, etc. Now, one more important part in the design industry is the automotive clay. Now, car companies, when they produce a car, before showing it to the market, they have an internal discussion on this. So they use clay to make small models of the vehicles and they present it to the management. Then management says, okay, yes, good, or not good, and then how they start working further on the car, or they leave it there. So they have to decide at one of the points, one of the turning points of the process. So we invited Mr. Dilip Telore from General Motors, interacted with our previous batch of MDes and told them how clay works. And all these students that you see in the picture, they're all into the internships right now after they got a lot of inputs from Dilip and other experts. So, and we are also very regular at Pune Design Festival. If you if you come next time, or if you even you become a design student at UPES, we'll be taking some of you to participate in the Pune Design Festival, where you will get to meet a lot of designers from design houses, many entrepreneurs from government, and so on. Now you must have heard of games, right? We just see, okay, there's a game, maybe Sudoku, maybe Snakes and Ladders, maybe Jenga. There are people who are designing those games. So to break the monotony of daily classes, we also organize such workshops. So in one of the workshops, we invited a game designer. She interacted with the students. Students created new games, and they understood the concept behind game designing. It's again a very big career opportunity that you can, take up in your as your main career. Siam. Okay, before I talk about Siam, there's one more thing that every design student needs to understand. When you go to the industry after designing, it is not your curriculum CV, curriculum vitae, or it's not your resume that is important. What is important is your portfolio. Now, portfolio is a collection of lot of your design work. So we are in constant touch with SIAM. SIAM is a Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers. Some of the people, like Saurabh in the green shirt on the top one, he's the designer behind Brezza, the new Suzuki Brezza. Then we have Nilesh into the white shirt at the bottom. He's the designer behind the Honda Navi. Then we had people from Mahindra, people from General Motors. All these are those experts who work into the industry. So when MDes students, our previous batch, they were about to go out for internships, we invited these members from Siam, and they interacted with the students. They improved their portfolios, and today, as I said earlier as well, all our students are out in the market. They're placed in very good companies, from TI Cycles to Escorts Group to General Motors to Pininfarina in China to Tata to Mahindra and so on. That is only possible when you interact with the industry. So Siam Design Workshop was one of them. One of our design dialogues we conducted in Delhi, and we had Sananda Sudhir from Invent India. We again had Nilesh from Honda. We had Mizu from B Studio Italy. We had Dr. K Munshi from IIT Delhi. These all interacted again with the students, try to give them an idea about what happens in the industry. Now, we keep giving them regular inputs. We don't take, so we don't just take one workshop or connect two workshops in a year. This is a regular event. It happens maybe sometimes twice a month as well. So you get a lot of understanding of the industry. Now, when we talk about all that, most important part that comes into everybody's mind is uh, what are the job prospects, right? So some of the images here. Our students from MDes went to the following companies at different times. Some of them from some of the companies we are associated since the very beginning. Some we have just got associated with, and there are many more companies which we may have not listed here. Our 2015-2017 batch, we had 32 students. Out of those 32 students, roughly four to five students are doing their internship project into the in the campus itself, and remaining all the students have got paid internships, and they're working in the industry. Now our paid internships range from somewhere around 7,500 to 40,000 as well. So before you get a job, you always have a chance to become an intern into the industry and start earning from day one itself. So all the students who go to the internships, they are given a live projects. These live projects are done at the client's end, and after this happens, after the internship is over, most of the times a job is offered to the students. It again all depends upon how good you performed, how was your dedication towards design, and how well you could understand the requirements of the client. All these factors are a part of your jobs and internships. Now, we have been very proud to, have some of the achievements listed in our kitty. Now, we are only 4 years old, but some of our students have done tremendous work, and our faculty members have been also directly, interacting with the industry. We have co-branded certification from Autodesk SODS. As SODS has been one of the most associated academically with Autodesk in many ways. Uh, One of them is Fusion 360 workshops and Bootcamp competition. So we are conducting workshops on Fusion 360, which is a new software by Autodesk, and the certificates are awarded to the winners. In the workshop, students are taught about the new certificate. The experts from Autodesk come, they teach students. It's a very small workshop. It could be a 3-day workshop, 2-day workshop, but we do it regularly. And we're trying to, again, as I said, inculcate the latest technology and latest software into our curriculum as well. Now, Future Tech Design gave alias training to our School of Design Studies students. And we are also in collaboration with the in touch with many other experts, including General Motors, including students, people who work with Hero or Maruti. They come and they explain the industry standards to the students. We we had clay modeling training from General Motors last year, and again this year we will be having it, where students will be learning how to use automotive clay. KPIT Pune organized a competition to design the front fascia of the electric bus. Out of three top finalists, top five finalists, two were from our department. And out of those two, Mr. Ravi Shankar won the third prize of 25,000 on 4th May last year. His concept of front fascia was chosen as one of the best ones. Vignesh Vasukuttan, who's the final year MD student, he was chosen as the top 20 finalists in the International Train Design competition organized in China. And on 16th of November 2016, he presented his work. These are some of the images from his design. So he designed this train for India, but for the future. So today he's working with Tata Technologies, and he's working on four different projects at the same time, and they all are associated with mass transportation, including train design, including metro rail design, and some more confidential projects which we cannot disclose. But yes, it's his dedication that has brought him there. Similarly, we had two finalists in the top 10 this year at the Siam Automotive Design Challenge 2016. Now, it's an annual event organized by Siam, Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, and students from across the country participate. We This time it was held in Goa on 17th February, and the theme was to design an electric autonomous personal mobility vehicle for the year 2030. So both of these students presented their work at the Siam, and they got a lot of appreciation as well. Uh, Akash Raja, who's from the MDes final year, he participated in the Tata Makeathon contest to design wearable health monitoring device. What you see in photos in the images, this is a device that he developed. Now, this device is very beautifully designed and very unique. It could be used as a necklace around your neck. It could be a hairband per se. It could be your wristband as well, or you can simply leave it on your table. This monitors your health. When you go for a walk, it monitors your blood pressure, your heartbeat, how many steps you've taken. All those details are mentioned in this one. So he went to IIT Guwahati to present his work there as well. Again, as I said, he got a lot of appreciation. So some of the testimonies from our students, including from BDES, R.G. Roy is from the first batch of BDES. His specialization in transportation design for in 2014-2018 batch. And as you mentioned, we are not textbook university. Department has absolutely no textbooks. We as I said, we teach through industry connects. We teach through using library books which are there, but there's no compulsion that you have to use just this book. You can use just anything. So some more from our students, Ronak Sachdeva, some from Sanchit Bajaj. As Sanchit again emphasizes that there are no textbooks, which means you can explore as much possible, right? There are no mental barriers. Now, as Ronak mentions, the courses are very explorative, which means you are given a free hand to learn as much as you can from your thought process, from your resources, from your surrounding, and so on. As Akash mentions, SOD has cemented his decision to pursue designing as his career. It is an opportunity to become something. And Yukta is the pioneer batch from the BFA, and she's very happy with the ambience, and she understands that the students are given much more than what you expect. At the end, we have our small team. These are the resident faculty members and resident people, staff members of School of Design Study Department. We have Dr. Somajit Ghoshal, who is the program head and program director. He is from NID. He's around 30 years of experience in teaching from NID itself. Mr. Majumdar, who's a design fellow. Deepak Chandra Goyal, again associate design fellow. Manas Ranjan, Rakesh Shah, myself. So we are from different places. Mr. Majumdar is from NID, Manas is from IIT Delhi, while Rakesh is from NID. I'm from IED in Italy. We have Harish, who's from IIT Bombay. We have Niren from NID. We have Soham, who's a senior technician, who's a wonderful hand modeler. We have Prasun from NID. We have Avimesh from Traffic School. We have Mukund, who's from Raheja, and so on. So we have a huge, a very beautiful bouquet of faculty members who come from different experiences, from different backgrounds, and different countries they've studied. So this is what basically all the students get. No? With this, I would end the webinar, and we are open for questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to respond and ask those questions. We'll be here to answer those. See, what I'll do is I'll invite you guys to come to the UPS, look at our campus, look at the resources that we have, meet the existing students, meet the faculty members, look at the machinery, the product the students have done, and you'll be very happy to know that a simple thought can become a very good innovation. It all depends upon how farther you want to go with it. And we have, as I mentioned, most of the resources which are possible we have in the university. And we are surrounded by mountains. It snows, and you can see white mountain just from the campus itself. And Mussoorie is 1 hour's drive. On the other side you have Haridwar, another 1.5 hour drive, and that's it. Well, I've received a question from Arvindan. Arvindan, as I mentioned in my previous ones, we have received so far 100% placements for all our industrial design students. Our industrial design students have been into the various industries. Invent India, it's based out of Gujarat. We have design directions. We have Spacewood. We have Spacewood is into furnitures. We also have students who are into Advantage, based out of Pune. Futuring design. Students have got a lot of students have gone into UI UX as well. Um you've heard of 99 Bricks and Nocti.com. Our students have worked there as well. So these are some of the companies that are on my tips. Otherwise, our students have also gone for IIP, which is Indian Institute of Packaging, New Delhi. Some students have gone to Scanray. Scanray is extensively into the medical equipment. So our students have worked, are currently working in Scanray as well. Our students have gone to SKM. So one of our student is in Crompton Greaves, doing his internship right now. So what you understand, what I'm trying to explain is we have students across the industry, across the country. Yeah. Any more questions? Guys, we also have a Facebook page. You can simply search for UPS, SODS, and you can interact directly with the students as well. They'll give you better answers. They'll give you their personal experiences on most of the things. Some of students, one of our students is also working with the government. One of the students has been, working with the NGOs as well. They produced those products which are useful for rural areas for the students who are from BPL families who cannot afford bags, for example. So the student has created bags, which also become a table. So different ideas which have been taken forward. One of our students who was earlier with Fortune Cookies has now moved to another company in Hyderabad, and he's moving up his graph. One of our students, two or three of students actually, are with Elephant Design in Pune, and yeah, that's it. That's about our students. Any more questions we have here? Well, see, salary packages are varying. It all depends upon your portfolio, but uh, at average, our students are getting around 5 to 6 lakhs a year. That's the average one. We have got an highest package of 9 lakhs in the previous batch. The current batch is yet to go out for placements. They have gone for internships. So we have in the internship as well. They are earning somewhere around 15,000. Some are earning less, some are earning more. But on average, 15,000 is what our students are getting right now as interns. Talking about transportation specifically, our students right now are getting interned at General Motors Bangalore. There's one student there. We have four students who are right now in Future Tech Design, who are working on projects for Escorts Group. And that is how students go to different places. Okay, see what you can do is when you come for admission, that is one last chance where you can try for industrial design as well or UX. It's up to you. But if you have been advised to take up industrial design, that is most probably because your portfolio reflects your inclination towards industrial design, and that is what we do. Your portfolios are analyzed, and we try to explain to the students that which industry they fit the best. But yes, you can talk to Mr. Virendra Gupta. If you are still more interested in UX design, you'll have to produce those projects or some sort of portfolio inputs so that we can understand, that your inclination is towards UX. Yes, you can visit anytime, uh, but avoid the Sundays. Through the weekdays, you can come anytime. It will be though better to get in touch with the enrollment office once before you leave from your places, so that we can suggest you the best ways to reach here, the best routes possible, and all those sorts of assistance if you require, we can help you with. Yes, please go ahead, Arvindam. Well, we have a dedicated faculty. I also showed you Prasun is one of those faculty members. Then we have Harish CP. Prasun is from NID, Harish is from IT Delhi. Then we have Niren Parsai who's from NID again. So yes, you have a good number of faculty members. Plus there will be faculty members who will be coming from the industry. So they'll be also interacting with you guys. This would be the interaction design team more or less. I hope I have answered your question, Arvindan. Yes, see, Dr. Ghoshal is participating in each and every module. It's needless to say. Uh, so yes, he'll be teaching you. He will be there in interaction for sure. He will be there for ergonomics for sure, and he'll be also taking up portfolio for sure. So these three are minimum he's going to teach you. Don't worry about that. See, I'll tell you one more thing, and this is for everybody as such. Um, We all come from different backgrounds, we all come from different experiences, and our courses have been designed with different disciplines combined together. I don't know if okay, I don't know if you've seen the previous the whole presentation here. But what I mentioned is, if you are studying transportation design, you will definitely will be having some inputs from the for the interaction, some inputs for the graphic design, some input for the communication design. So the experts from these fields, they'll teach you that particular subject. So now, for example, Dr. Ghoshal, he's expert in ergonomics, and he's expert in interaction because he's in interface design. So in industrial design or interaction design or transportation design, wherever his module comes, he'll come and teach you. I hope I've made that thing clear. See, Arvindan, I can promise you one thing today, that we will prepare you for the industry, provided you are equally hardworking, you are equally dedicated towards design. Um Anyway, if you have already got the selection done through the portfolio, I'm sure you've displayed enough of the dedication, because we reject a lot of portfolios who are not interested in design, and they come thinking that it's just like any other subject, right? uh, it's like sometimes students don't want to do chemistry and math and physics, so they come and do designing. But this is not like that. If you have displayed your personal capabilities, yes, you can do anything you want. Design is a long journey, though it's only 2 years here in MDiS, but there's a lot of journey that you have to do through your projects, through your regular interaction with the faculty members, with other designers, design students from not only the department but across the globe. You need to continuously participate in competitions, national, international, or at the school level, to develop your skills. And when you talk about UX, we have very good number of students who are working extensively in UX, who will be your seniors. So we will be inviting them as well time to time. They keep coming. You can interact with them. So of course, if they're out there, you are from their alma mater, so there will be a very uh, possible connect between all of you guys. So don't worry about that part. What I suggest, Arivandam, uh, what you can do is do some projects on UX. You can talk to some experts in the industry, or you can search over the internet. One of our students, Mr. Ankit Dubey, no, he's from UX only. He's into UX. Then we have other students, Abhishek Chavan. He's into UX. Uh, you'll find some more students from UX itself. What I suggest you is get in touch with them, work on some projects, and when you come here for your admission, bring your portfolio, bring those projects. Then we might decide. Okay. So you'll do it? Anytime, Arvindan, anytime. Okay, all the best. Okay, guys, we'll conclude here. If you have any queries, you can always send an email or get in touch with our enrollment team through phone or Facebook or any other medium you would like to. Okay, have a good time and bye bye.